Hey everybody, Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, and today, before I get into the deck tech proper, I just want to give you a fair warning. I love Avatar, and I love what we're seeing from the set so far, so you'll probably see quite a few deck techs as that set gets closer and as we see more spoilers. I'm extremely excited for it. I think that both Avatar and Lord of the Rings, and then also Final Fantasy are examples of how Universes Beyond can be done really well. And so I just wanted to let you know that in advance. I will still be doing a bunch of deck techs that are not Avatar. I'm going to try to mix and match a little bit so as to not overwhelm you. But before we start, let me know what you think of the set so far. Let me know what you think of the spoilers about earthbending, airbending, firebending, and waterbending as mechanics, and what cards you are or are not excited for. But without further ado, let's get right into Kyoshi, Master Earthbender. So who is Avatar Kyoshi? She was a Earth Nation-based avatar in the show, and in the show she Aang kind of like uses her spirit for guidance and also kind of like becomes her in a way during an episode. It's very strange, but also awesome. So Avatar Kyoshi in this game, however, is Avatar Kyoshi Earthbender. She's a 6/6 for practically a million mana at 5 colorless, or sorry, 5 generic and 3 green. And during your turn, Avatar Kyoshi has Hexproof. Now, she also has, at the beginning of combat on your turn, Earthbend 8, then untap that land. And for those of you who don't know what Earthbending is yet, target land you control becomes a 0/0 creature with haste that's still a land, and you put 8 in this instance, 1/1 counters on it, and when it dies or is exiled, return it to the battlefield tapped. Earthbending is a really strange and unique ability, and it actually, if you want to check out my deck tech for Toph, the first metal bender, which I did a couple months ago when we first saw her, there are ways to do a lot of nutty combos with her, and with this ability. But back to this deck. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to be playing a straight up green Landfall deck, try to get lots of lands in play some of the Avatar Earthbending cards, and try to beat face with our creatures and with our lands. And so how are we going to do this? First, we have a Planeswalker. I'm not usually a huge fan of Planeswalkers in Magic the Gathering in terms of Commander because they're very weak. Even though I have a Super Friends deck, I barely play it because there's no way to really defend yourself, and if you drop one on board, people usually tend to hate you for it. However, Nissa, Who Shakes the World, is so good in mono green that I play her both in my Azusa deck and also in this deck. And what does she do? Well, when you tap a forest for green, it adds an additional green to it. And +1, put 3 1/1 counters on target non-creature land you control. Untap it, it becomes a 0/0 elemental creature token with vigilance and has haste. That's still a land. Now notice, with Earthbending, it doesn't say you have to target a non-creature land, so you can use the +1 on this ability and still Earthbend it to give it even more. So you could have an 11/11 land if you have both Avatar Kyoshi and Nissa out there. And then last, she has -8 if you manage to keep her alive. -8, you get an emblem with lands you control of indestructible. So then your combat lands are going to be real tough. And then search your library for any number of forest cards and put them onto the battlefield tapped. And then shuffle your library. As for creatures, you're going to see the ones in red here are from the upcoming Avatar set. They're not legal yet, so that is why they're red on Moxfield here. But we have Ashaya, Soul of the Wild. This card is really strong with Earthbending ability. And Ashaya, Soul of the Wild's power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. So all of your lands are going to buff it up. And then non-token creatures you control are forest lands in addition to their other types. So everybody here from Azusa to Delighted Halfling are lands, and you can Earthbend onto those lands. Yes, it turns them into 0/0s and then puts the counters on them, but still does the thing. We've got Azusa in here to let us play some more lands. We have Badger Mole, which is when this creature enters, Earthbend 2. And then creatures you control with 1/1 counters on them have Trample to help you give a little bit of overrun effect to your creatures and lands that you are Earthbending. Badger Mole Cub, when this creature enters, Earthbend 1. That's why we're kind of running it. This card looks like it might see play in other formats. Now, we don't have too many mana dorks in here. I think that Delighted Halfling is about the only one. I should probably add a couple more mana dorks to give us a little bit more value out of that second ability. But this is important. I don't need to do that necessarily, because if we have a Shaya in play, they're forests. They can tap for green, and this just says whenever you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green. So this and a Shaya are kind of a mana combo as well. Then we have Bristly Bill, Spine Sower. Landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on him. Everybody knows and loves this card. Oh yes, I was going to address the fact that this deck comes in at about $795, and that is because a lot of these cards need some very needed reprints. Like Bristly Bill here is almost $50. Azusa is $16, right? Ashaya is $11. Craterhoof, 17. So this one's not too budgety, and I apologize for that, but we'll have some more budget decks as we go forward. Then we have Boomy. And when Boomy enters, Earthbend 1, and then when Boomy attacks, put 2/1/1 counters on each land creature you control. So also goes really well with Ashaya. Craterhoof Behemoth, also known as Baby's First Win Con. I play it in my Azusa deck, and it's going to get played here. He does big things, and he's going to smash things. Delighted Halfling, of course, a mana dork. Earthbending Student, when this creature enters, you Earthbend 2, and then land creatures you control have Vigilance, so they can attack and then tap for mana. We have Evolution Sage, so that way whenever Landfall triggers, you get to proliferate, so those counters that you're putting on your lands. Famished World Sire, which, by the way, this creature is incredible. I wanted to test it out in Azusa. I have an Azusa deck that's very highly tuned, and so far, every time I've gotten to play Famished World Sire in both my paper deck and then also my Arena Brawl deck, it has just straight done work. Highly recommend this card. Pick it up, put it in your decks. Then we have Haru, Hidden Talent. Whenever another ally you control enters, Earthbend 1. It's just a 1/1, but we have lots of allies in here, right? We've got the Boomy, we've got the Earthbending Student, etc. Then we have Kodama the West Tree. Modified creatures you control have Trample, so another way of giving all of your lands and stuff Trample. And when a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield tapped, which, yeah, you're going to have multiple modified creatures, so you're going to be able to get lots of lands. Lotus Cobra and Nissa Resurgent Animist, they are in here because they are good at landfall. Now I'm going to tell you about a combo. So you're going to animate one of your lands, right? It becomes a creature. It's a creature land. Now, what's very important here, or you have a Shaya in play, either or you have a land that is a creature, you're going to bestow Springheart Nantuko on that land creature, right? And then the next time landfall triggers, as long as you have Lotus Cobra or Springheart Nantuko, you don't want to do this with the Ashaya thing. You want to do this with one of your animated lands. So then the next time a land comes into play, your animated land that you have bestowed, you will pay the 1 green off of Lotus Cobra and then pay another mana, and you will get a copy of that creature. But it comes into play as a land, not as an animated land. So you're going to get a forest into play, right? And then that's going to re-trigger the loop for both Springheart Nantuko and Lotus Cobra. And you have that untapped land you just created, so you're going to tap that and use the green for Lotus Cobra and generate another land. You can literally create infinite forests this way. And they, yes, they'll all be tapped by the end of this loop, but if you also have Nissa Resurgent Animist, you can make them all untapped. It's very strong. Very, very strong. Earthbending is silly, friends, and so is Springheart Nantuko. We have Oracle Moldiah, and so, we're in here just kind of playing lands off the top of our library and being able to play extra lands. Simple. Ouroboros, I actually put this in my Janara deck, have yet to get it into play, but it's very strong from when I've played it in Arena. It says at the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control, where X is this creature's power. We got Steve. Springheart we already talked about. Tireless Provisioner lets you put a food or treasure into play on landfall trigger. Tireless Tracker is a clue token on Landfall trigger. Then we got a couple more Toffs. We have Toff, Earthbending Master. Landfall, whenever a land enters, or a land you control enters, you get an experience counter. And then whenever you attack, Earthbend X, where X is the number of experience counters on it. This also combos with Springheart and Antuco, right? If you have any of these other landfall things in play with that combo I mentioned, things are going to get out of control. Infinite clues, infinite treasures, so infinite mana, right? Like, nutty. Just hold that in there. Then we have Toph, Blind Bandit. Whenever Toph enters, Earthbend 2. And Toph's power is equal to the number of 1/1 counters on lands you control. Then we have Vorinclex to double our counters and halve the opponent's counters. For sorceries, about all but 3 of these are going to be ramp. In fact, I think all but 3 of them are ramp. So we have Cultivate, Explore, Nature's Lore, 3 Visits, Sky Shroud Claim, and Kodama's Reach, and Rampant Growth as our ramp package. All very standard, all very good. Gets us some lands. And then for our explosive spells, we have Genesis Wave, which recently, when I was playing in person with some friends at the local game store, I managed a Genesis Wave for 37 with my Azusa deck. So Genesis Wave, of course, says reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of permanent cards, not just creatures, but permanent cards with mana value X or less among them onto the battlefield, untapped, so those lands can be used right away. Then put all the cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield into your graveyard. We have Last March of the Ent, lets you draw and then put a whole bunch of creatures onto the battlefield. Then you have Rishkar's Expertise, which lets you draw a whole bunch, and then you can cast a spell with mana value 5 or less without paying its mana cost. For instance, we have kind of a little bit of a menagerie here. We've got Entish Restoration, Harrow, and Roiling Regrowth for our ramp spells. We've got Beast Within for a little bit of, removal. We have Allies at Last, which is a new card. Has affinity for allies, and up to 2 target creatures you control deal damage equal to their power to target creature and opponent controls. We also have Constant Miss and Fog, which will help protect us, as well as Obscuring Haze. We also have things to protect our Kyoshi and other powerful creatures with Heroic Intervention, Snakeskin Veil, Tamiyo Safekeeping, and then we also have Origin of Metal Bending to help protect them. It can make a creature have a 1/1 counter and indestructible. We are also running Return of the Wild Speaker here, so you draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control, and non-human creatures you control get +3/+3 until end of turn. For our artifacts, we are playing Amulet of Vigor. This is another one of those cards that absolutely needs more reprints. It's sitting at $55, and it would be a little bit too rich for my blood if I did not already own multiple playsets of them from when I was playing Legacy 12 Post. And it also is high up there because Amulet Titan is a very big deck in Modern currently. We have Crucible of Worlds, so that way we can replay lands that get sacrificed or die. We have Emerald Medallion and Sol Ring, which I normally would not run in mono green ramp decks because usually a ramp is just so fast that these are moot. But since Kyoshi and several of our other spells are so expensive, Sol Ring and Emerald Medallion actually put in a little bit of work here. Earth Crystal's in here not only because it reduces the cost of our green spells, but also if 1 or more 1/1 counters would be put on a creature you control, you put twice that many counters on that creature instead, and then you can also pay to distribute some counters. We've got the Ozolith, so if anything with counters dies, you get to slap those counters on the next thing. And then the Endstone, which I bought a bunch of because I think that this card can be really, really good. I think it can be really, really good. But I haven't found a way to make it really good. But I think that mono green ramp is a place for it, because although it does half your life total, it does just straight reward you for playing spells and playing lands, both of which you're going to do a lot of in mono green ramp. And then for our enchantments, we've got Concordant Crossroads to give all of our creatures haste. Yes, I know the Earthbend lands do have haste, but this is for other creatures as well. We have Branching Evolution. Oh yes, for Concordant Crossroads, please note that it is two-sided, so your opponent's creatures have haste as well. Branching Evolution, so if you put a 1/1 counter on a creature, double that amount. Hardened Scales puts extra counters on. Druid class gains you a life when a land enters the battlefield, and if you get to level 2, you can play an extra land. And then also, when you pay 5, this creature, or when this class becomes level 3, target land you control becomes a creature with haste, and this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. So you can do this and Earthbend it, and then it is going to be enormous. Garruk's Uprising, and then Spelunking. For our lands package, we're running 27 forests. We are running Blinkmoth and Inkmoth. So Blinkmoth does silly things, but not as silly as Inkmoth. So with Inkmoth here, Inkmoth Nexus, you can Earthbend it. Say you have Kyoshi. Earthbend 8, give it 8 counters, give it a few more counters somehow other way, and then you're going to pay the 1 to make it become a 1/1, so it's 1 larger. It has flying and infect, so you can just straight kill someone. Also, a lot of removal says non-land permanents. If all of your stuff is lands, and since mass land removal is kind of frowned upon in Commander, you can kind of get away with Inkmoth Nexus smashing people. We have a Vendo over here as well. It is Gaia's Cradle we have at home. I have played this on Arena and in person, and it is doing very well for me so far. Pick it up if you can. Nykthos Shrine to Nyx is, super expensive. Also needs more reprints. We have Jungle Basin, which is a bounce double land. We have Yavimaya Cradle, Strip Mine for recursion because we are jerks, and Rogue's Passage. Well, everybody, I hope that you all enjoyed Avatar Kyoshi. I really like I said, I love Avatar. I love the art, and like of the past Avatars, she is kind of the coolest one. I like the idea of like the fans and the Kyoshi warriors and things like that. So yeah, let me know what you think of the deck. Let me know if you think Earthbending is viable, which one of the bendings you think will end up being the best overall. I think Airbending and Firebending have a lot of potential. Waterbending seems a bit unique, but still also I think has some potential. But let me know in the comments down below. And as always, I am Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.